Okay, have you ever been talking to someone, a coworker, maybe a family member, and it just feels like you're on completely different planets, even though you're speaking the same language? Well, today we're going to crack the code on why that happens. We're diving into these 16 personality types, all based on the ideas in the incredible book Gifts Differing.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll get right to the core idea of what makes us all tick. Then, we'll unpack the four key preferences that are basically the building blocks of personality. After that, we'll see how you can actually build your own type, take a look at all 16 of them, and, most importantly, talk about why this stuff is a total game changer for how you see the world.
All right, first up, what really makes people tick? You might think it's something super complicated, but according to this theory, it actually boils down to something really simple. It's all about our natural built-in preferences. You know that feeling, right? You're in a meeting, you explain an idea, and to you, it's crystal clear. But your coworker is just giving you this blank stare. Or maybe it's that argument you keep having with a loved one that seems to go in circles. Well, this whole framework gives us a map to figure out why those disconnects happen so often.
Now, the most important word here is preference. This has nothing to do with how smart you are or what you're good at. It's not about what you can do, it's about what you naturally and comfortably do without even thinking about it. It's your mental default setting.
And here is the absolute best way to understand it. Think about being right-handed or left-handed. If you're right-handed, sure, you can write your name with your left hand. It's probably going to feel awkward, and you'll have to concentrate really hard. But when a ball comes flying at you don't think, you just stick out your dominant hand. That's a preference, and personality works in exactly the same way. So if it's all about preferences, what exactly are we choosing between? Well, that brings us to the four pairs of preferences. Think of these as the fundamental building blocks that combine to make you, you. First up, let's talk about energy. Where does your energy come from? Think of extroverts kind of like solar panels. They get charged up by being out in the world, interacting with people, and doing things. Introverts, on the other hand, are more like rechargeable batteries. They get their energy from their inner world of thoughts and ideas, and they need that quiet, alone time to recharge. One isn't better than the other, they just plug into different sockets. Next, how do you take in information? What do you pay attention to? People with a sensing preference are all about the here and now. They trust what their five senses tell them, the solid, concrete facts. But folks with an intuition preference, they're more interested in reading between the lines. They focus on patterns, connections, and what could be. You could say one sees the trees and the other sees the whole forest. Okay, so you've got the info. Now, how do you make a decision? Well, thinking types prefer to step back from a situation to look at it logically and objectively. They're all about cause and effect. Feeling types, however, prefer to step into the situation. They make decisions based on their values and how it's going to impact the people involved. It's that classic head versus heart approach. And finally, how do you like to live your life in the outer world? Do you like a plan, or do you prefer to just wing it? Now, the judging preference, and this does not mean being judgmental, by the way, is all about liking structure. You like to make a plan and have things decided and settled. But the perceiving preference is about being flexible and spontaneous. You like to keep your options open and go with the flow. So those are our four pairs. Now comes the really fun part. Let's see how these pieces snap together to create your own personal four-letter code. Honestly, it's this simple. To figure out any personality type, you just pick one preference from each of the four pairs we just went through. That's it. So let's just build an example type. For our first slot, energy. Let's say this person is an extrovert. Boom. That gives us the letter E. As we go, try to think about which one sounds more like you. Okay, for the second slot, how they perceive information. Let's say they prefer intuition. That adds the letter N to our code. So now we've got EN. Moving on to decisions. This person leans toward thinking, so we'll add a T to the mix. And for the last one, their outer world lifestyle, they prefer a planned, orderly approach. That's judgment, or J. And just like that, you have a complete personality type, ENTJ. Every single type is put together in this exact way. So when you actually do the math, four pairs with two choices each, that gives you a grand total of 16 possible combinations. And each one is a unique personality type. Let's take a look at the whole family. And here they are, all 16 of them. And this is so important. There is no best type on this chart. Not one.
Each of these 16 types is a totally valid, healthy way of being in the world. Each one has its own amazing strengths, its own gifts, and yeah, its own potential blind spots too. Okay, so what? What's the point of all this? This right here is the biggest takeaway of the whole thing. The goal is never, ever to put people into boxes or label them. The real power here is using this as a tool to actually understand and even appreciate why we're all so different.
You know, when you get your own type, you can start to lean into your natural strengths. But the real magic, the real light bulb moment, happens when you start to understand the types of the people around you. You finally get why your boss needs all the data, or why your friend needs to think things over before making a decision. It completely changes how you communicate, it makes teams work better, and it helps you realize that different isn't wrong. It's just different.
And I just want to leave you with this amazing quote from Isabel Briggs Myers herself. She said, constructive use of the differences between people can be made only when we recognize that the other person is not wrong, he is just different. That's the whole point. It's a tool for compassion, a tool for collaboration, and for seeing the unique gifts that every single person brings to the table. So the real question isn't what type am I? It's how can I use this to better understand the people in my life?